Agaya and Ubuntu friends, welcome to this Novasutras live stream. Thank you for being here today. If you are joining the live stream, oops, that one still got sound on. There we go. If you're joining the live stream, thank you. And if you want to share in chat, that's great. Also, if you're watching this live or close to live, you might register on Zoom and join our interactive session after this live stream. So today we're going to focus on gratitude and practices around giving thanks. For those who are in the United States, we are in the last week before our annual Thanksgiving Day celebration. And because of the legacy of settler colonialism, this is a very complex holiday celebration. And yet that essence of setting aside a whole day for the purpose of gratitude, the original intention here, has a lot of beauty in it and a lot of power. Now, Novasutras is an eco-spiritual organization that seeks to honor both science and spirituality in our quest to open our minds and hearts to the reality of the world. So first, I want to talk a little bit about the science behind the value of gratitude practice. And there's a wonderful white paper by the Greater Good Institute at the University of California at Berkeley that assembles a lot of the research around the effects of gratitude. In this research paper, they find that people who are actively cultivating a grateful disposition experience a lot of benefits from that. Focusing on gratitude is associated with better health. People sleep better. People have less cellular inflammation, more parasympathetic heart rate variability, which is a sign of improved heart health. People who practice gratitude are more likely to seek medical help when they need it and follow it when they get it. That grateful disposition is also associated with positive emotions being more prevalent in your life, greater life satisfaction, greater optimism, subjective well-being. You know, do you perceive yourself as being all right? Positive affect. Do you come across as happy? And how people express their genuine happiness. They found that it might actually counteract materialism. It might protect against burnout, which particularly for those of us who are engaged in earth care and aware of so many of the problems facing our world right now, the tendency to burnout is very high. A gratitude practice or other ways of cultivating gratitude can really help that. Gratitude practices have been shown to benefit people in drug and alcohol recovery work, people who are trauma survivors, and people experiencing other kinds of mental illness. So there's a whole lot of good reason to work on being more grateful. And I'm thankful for all of the people who have done that background research and shown the power of this practice. I know in my own life, a gratitude journaling practice uh, over the course of a year, I experienced it as making a huge difference in my life. So, these researchers are finding amazing ways that gratitude affects our brains, our minds, our bodies. And given that we are so close to this day of Thanksgiving, it seemed like a really good time to celebrate that. Now, in some spaces, I have heard people say, well, it's easy to be grateful when things are going well, but it's just some kind of, it's an indulgence. It's just spoiled, privileged people congratulating themselves for their privilege. But a lot of serious thinkers about this, especially in light of how beneficial it can be for everyone, regardless of circumstance, they've called out the idea that practicing gratitude can be kind of a subversive political act. It can be a true, deep, revolutionary rethink of how we interact with the world. It can be an antidote to the poison of a consumerist society. Consumerism thrives by telling people that they are inadequate unless they get the next thing, that they couldn't possibly be happy now because they don't have the next thing. Being thankful for what we have, that counteracts that whole message upon which advertising is built. What an amazing stance of rebellion. What a radical act to just be thankful for the things that are already around us, the things that we've experienced, the things that we connect with every day. And by things, I'm not just talking about material objects. I'm talking about the entirety of the living world and all the beautiful and amazing people in it. And that takes us to a couple of the key concepts in Novasutras. Those who come to my Insight Timer meditations will be familiar with this. I'm just going to use my little pull up handout here of our two keywords, agaya and ubuntu. So when we think about the living world, when we go out and experience nature, when we see the natural beauty of life, an opening flower bud, a butterfly, a falling leaf on the wind, often we are struck with this intense feeling of wonder, awe, maybe reverence. We try to encapsulate that feeling and the source of that feeling in this word agaya, combining Gaia, the word, the name of a fierce primordial earth goddess that was used by scientists to try and understand and articulate, this growing understanding of all of Earth's biosphere as a living system, like a super organism, that all of life on Earth interacts in ways that are co-creating the conditions for ever more complex and abundant life to evolve. And this was encapsulated in what James Lovelock called the Gaia hypothesis, later the Gaia theory. In the sciences, again, a theory is something there's so much evidence from so many different places that it is a strong basis for understanding and creating new hypotheses. So that's the Gaia theory. It's very powerful in the sciences, encapsulates a lot of systems thinking and biology and an understanding of things like water and carbon cycles and other aspects of atmospheric chemistry. Gaia is all of that. But there's also maybe more. And we seem to, as humans, resonate with this when we feel that awe and wonder. And so agaya also brings in another word from the Greek languages, agape, a word for a kind of transcendent, universal, all-permeating love. And it just invites us to hold open the possibility of what if all of this wonder and joy and awe and beauty is an expression of love. And then an important underlying component of all of that, of how Gaia works to create complexity and coevolution, is captured in this beautiful word from the languages of Southern Africa, ubuntu. Ubuntu is about relationship and interdependence. It's this idea that, I could say, I am because we are. That everything I am, that everything any individual is only true because of their relationships to others. And again, this extends throughout the living world. There could be no such thing as trees if it weren't for the mycelial networks, the fungi in the soils, who help to distribute chemicals, mineral resources, information, capturing water. There would be no such thing as animals on this planet if it weren't for all of those photosynthesizers capturing sunlight and producing oxygen. We are who we are because of our relationships with others. That's what Ubuntu is about. This incredible interdependence, interconnection, what Thich Nhat Hanh has called interbeing. So we live in a world of agaya and Ubuntu, and we can choose to allow ourselves to be grateful for every time that comes into our awareness, for every time we think about it. So as we're moving into this day of Thanksgiving, it might be the perfect opportunity to start a personal gratitude practice. And often this takes the form of a gratitude journal. Most people will journal once a day, but even if you only do it once a week, having a regular practice of just taking some time to think about what it is you're grateful for that day and help create and reinforce those pathways in your mind to take on a stance of gratitude more often. Gratitude for the generosity of this sacred earth. Gratitude for the connections you have with the people around you. Gratitude for your life and your experiences. Gratitude for simple things. The beauty of a cloud, bite of chocolate. So whatever that is, taking some very deliberate time to think through all of these different things that you might be grateful for that day and write a few of them down gives you an incredible power. What I suggest as a way of deepening our experience of gratitude for our living earth and for our beloved community is to use these prompts. And I'm going to share them with you now. You can start with, agaya was part of my life today when. Agaya was part of my life today when I saw the morning dew on the grass. Agaya was part of my life today when I noticed a chickadee looking back at me as I walked past, tracking where I was going. Agaya was part of my life today when I saw the light coming through the leaves of the trees. Next, to focus a little more deeply on Ubuntu, something that's so easy to lose track of in our isolating consumerist societies. Ubuntu was offered to me today when my husband smiled at me. Ubuntu was offered to me today when a friend said thank you in an email. Ubuntu was offered to me today when I could hear the smile of a friend during a phone call. I offered Ubuntu to another today when I offered some encouragement to my partner. I offered Ubuntu to another today when I expressed gratitude for the work that another had done. And another thing that I'm grateful for today is having access to all of this wisdom that's now available to us through devices, through the internet. So by working with simple practices like that, by actually taking the time to write them down if you can, you are reinforcing that pattern, that way of thinking about the world that will give you resilience in the face of challenges. People who practice gratitude end up being able to face difficulties with much more resilience and equanimity. It gives you kind of a superpower. So that's a piece of the power of a personal practice of gratitude. But of course, as beings who live in Ubuntu, and as the social primates that humans are, there's a lot of power of practicing gratitude in community. And that gets us back to the idea of Thanksgiving here in the United States. And in particular, the wise practices of some of the indigenous societies of northeastern Turtle Island, what became the United States and Canada, that is encapsulated in the Haudenosaunee's practice of the Thanksgiving address. So the Thanksgiving address is a practice that was taken on by this confederation of different indigenous societies for the purpose of peacemaking, of staying in good connection and good relationship with one another after what had been a long time of warfare. It's a practice that they use to begin and often end almost any social gathering, particularly those where people are coming together to do political work, to do the work of solving problems together. So I want to share that with you now from a beautiful website called Dance for All People. And there's a link in the YouTube description if you want to see that. But they note that this could also be used as a daily sunrise prayer. How beautiful to spend the beginning of the day reminding yourself of all of the things for which you could be grateful. All of these wonders of nature are a gift that keep us thriving. And on this site, they say, when one recites the Thanksgiving address, the natural world is thanked. And in thanking each life-sustaining force, one becomes spiritually tied to each of the forces of the natural and spiritual world. The Thanksgiving address teaches mutual respect, conservation, love, generosity, and the responsibility to understand that what is done to one part of the web of life, we are doing to ourselves. It begins thus. Today we have gathered and we see that the cycles of life continue. We have been given the duty and responsibility to live in balance and harmony with each other and all living things. So now we bring our minds together as one, as we give our greetings and our thanks to one another as people. Now our minds are one. We are thankful to our Mother, the Earth, for she gives us all that we need for life. She supports our feet as we walk about upon her. It gives us joy that she continues to care for us as she has from the beginning of time. To our Mother, we send our greetings and our thanks. Now our minds are one. We give thanks to all the waters of the world for quenching our thirst and providing us with strength. Water is life. We know its power in many forms: waterfalls and rain, mists and streams, rivers and oceans. With one mind, we send our greetings and our thanks to the spirit of water. Now our minds are one. We turn our minds to all the fish life in the water. They were instructed to cleanse and purify the water. They also give themselves to us as food. We are grateful that we can still find pure water. So we turn now to the fish and send our greetings and our thanks. Now our minds are one. Now we turn toward the plants. As far as the eye can see, the plants grow, working many wonders. They sustain many life forms. With our minds gathered together, we give our thanks and look forward to seeing plant life continue for many generations to come. Now our minds are one. With one mind, we turn to honor and thank all the food plants we harvest from the garden. Since the beginning of time, the grains, vegetables, beans, and berries have helped the people survive. Many other living things draw strength from them too. We gather all the plant foods together as one and send them our greetings and our thanks. Now our minds are one. Now we turn to all the medicine plants of the world. From the beginning, they were instructed to take away sickness. They are always waiting and ready to heal us. We are happy there are still among us those special few who remember how to use these plants for healing. With one mind, we send our greetings and our thanks to the medicines and to the keepers of the medicines. Now our minds are one. We gather our minds together to send our greetings and our thanks to all the animal life in the world. They have many things to teach us as people. We are honored by them when they give up their lives so we may use their bodies as food for our people. We see them near our homes and in the deep forests. We are glad they are still here, and we pray that this will always be so. Now our minds are one. We now turn our thoughts to the trees. The earth has many families of trees who have their own instructions and uses. Some provide us with shelter and shade, others with fruit, beauty, and other useful things. Many people of the world use a tree as a symbol of peace and strength. With one mind, we send our greetings and our thanks to the tree life. Now our minds are one. We put our minds together as one and thank all the birds who move and fly about over our heads. The Creator gave them beautiful songs. Each day, they remind us to enjoy and appreciate life. The eagle was chosen to be their leader. To all the birds, from the smallest to the largest, we send our joyful greetings and our thanks. Now our minds are one. The four winds. We are thankful to the powers we know as the four winds. We hear their voice in the moving air as they refresh us and purify the air we breathe. They help us to bring the change of seasons. From the four directions they come, bringing us messages and giving us strength. With one mind, we send our greetings and our thanks to the four winds. Now our minds are one. Now we turn to the west, where our grandfathers, the thunders, live. With lightning and thundering voices, they bring with them the water that renews life. We are thankful that they keep those evil beings made by Okowisers, I'm not sure about that word, underground. Keeping the evil underground. We bring our minds together as one and send our greetings and our thanks to our grandfathers, the thunders. Now our minds are one. We now send our greetings and our thanks to our eldest brother, the sun. Each day without fail, he travels the sky from east to west, bringing the light of a new day. He is the source of all the fires of life. With one mind, we send our greetings and our thanks to our brother, the sun. Now, our minds are one. We put our minds together to give thanks to our oldest grandmother, the moon, who lights the nighttime sky. She is the leader of women all over the world, and she governs the movement of the ocean tides. By her changing face, we measure time, and it is the moon who watches over the arrival of children here on earth. With one mind, we send our greetings and our thanks to our grandmother, the moon. Now, our minds are one. We give our thanks to the stars who are spread across the sky like jewels. We see them in the night, helping the moon to light the darkness and bringing dew to the gardens and growing things. When we travel at night, they guide us home. With our minds gathered together as one, we send our greetings and our thanks for the stars. Now our minds are one. We gather our minds together to consider the wisdom keepers who have come to help the people throughout the ages. When we forget how to live in harmony, they remind us of the way we were instructed to live. With one mind, We send our greetings and our thanks to these caring teachers. Now our minds are one. Now we turn our thoughts to the Creator. Shongkwai Tisong. And send our greetings and our thanks for all the gifts of creation. Everything we need to live a good life is here on this Mother Earth. For all the love that is around us, we gather our minds together as one and send our choicest words of greetings and thanks to the Creator. Now our minds are one. We have now arrived at the place where we end our words. Of all the things we have named, it is not our intention to leave anything out. If something has been forgotten, we leave it to each individual to send their greetings and their thanks in their own way. And now our minds are one. Again, the link to that website is in the YouTube description below, and also on the recent blog post on the Novasutras website about giving thanks and the power of gratitude. So as we approach Thanksgiving Day in the United States, I just want to recognize the complexity of that, and to offer that for all of us, this is a time where we might go a little deeper into considering who were the people who came before us, wherever we live, whether those people are our own ancestors or are people who were displaced through colonialism or other histories. Sarah J. Walcott wrote this as an introduction to a piece on Thanksgiving last year. She says, beneath a false historical narrative, a harmful pageant, and a beguiling dinner tradition, resides a real longing for both giving thanks and for reconciliation. Might this longing guide us toward a more authentic story to live by than the Pilgrim and Indian myth? So, what if Thanksgiving became for us an opportunity to acknowledge the sacred land and to give thanks for those who came before us? Often the indigenous humans of a place had a locally well-adapted culture that emphasized cherishing and caring for that land. Those practices and beliefs would have made them well-integrated participants in the local ecosystem, the local community of life. So here on Turtle Island or in other colonized parts of the world, we know that cultures that weren't as good at that, cultures that promote exploitation and extraction, often displaced or attempted, and sometimes were successful in eradicating those indigenous cultures. Of course, we can choose to make all of our gatherings an occasion to honor and give thanks for the early inhabitants of our watershed and our bioregion. As I noted in the chat, where I'm coming to you from is the unceded land of the Awaswas-speaking Ohlone people. Awaswas was a language that was eradicated during the mission period here in California, in the Santa Cruz Mountains of California, specifically on coastal California. That language has been eradicated. There are few, if any, surviving descendants of the Awaswas-speaking people, but they are currently represented by the Amamutsun tribal band that is doing what they can to nourish and uphold the Awaswas and Mutsun people who were taken to the Santa Cruz mission and other local missions. I try to do some land acknowledgement at the beginning of every local event, certainly, but also to offer it up as a possibility with online events. But for Thanksgiving gatherings, I think it's an especially important, potent thing that we can do, taking some extra time to honor the people who walked the land before colonial settlers arrived, offer our respect for their traditions of land care, to acknowledge the historic wrongs that disrupted their connection to the land. We can offer our gratitude, our thanks for the tenacity and wisdom of those who survived the tragedies that accompanied colonialism, and for the work that they're doing now to preserve and restore the best aspects of their languages and cultures, and the work that they're doing to reclaim their rights and responsibilities to care for their ancestral lands. If you haven't looked into the Land Back movement, I encourage you to do that with an open mind and really think about the ways that restoring Indigenous rights to the land could be beneficial to all of us. On my website, on the recent blog, you can learn a little bit more about how to offer land acknowledgement, including a way to find out who were the Indigenous people on the land where you are now. And learn more in order to do that effectively. One of the central features, one of the things that seems to survive and thrive even with, commercialism and disruption of so many other traditional practices. But part of the idea of the Thanksgiving gathering is to celebrate together with a feast. Sharing food is the deepest, most basic human expression of Ubuntu. It's something that is rarely seen amongst non-humans, aside from mothers providing food to their offspring. So the fact that We exchange food with strangers and friends, and use it as a basis for companionship, is central to that remarkable human capacity to live in ubuntu, to share. Across many traditions, it's customary to express some gratitude for the food before eating a meal, especially when it's a significant festive gathering, a big feast. So the Thanksgiving address is one way to approach that. But you can start smaller and more specific about the food. If you don't have a tradition like saying grace in Christian households, just taking some time to appreciate and express gratitude for all of the beings that made that food available to you. All of our food is captured energy from the sun. That energy had to be captured by green growing things. Sometimes we eat that directly. We eat other parts of plants, their roots, shoots, fruits, their seeds and as grains or nuts. When we eat animals or animal products, that's just that incredible potency of plants capturing sunlight that was then taken in by another animal. So always gratitude can go back to the sun itself and those plants who first captured that sunlight, who may have given of themselves, either partially as they produced seeds and fruit, or completely if we are harvesting, if we're killing the plant in order to harvest what we're going to eat. Then there are the people who helped to obtain that food resource. People who gathered wild foods, if you're fortunate enough to have some wild foods at your table. The farmers or gardeners who grew some of the food, tended those plants, helped to make sure that they could grow and thrive. Then the people who actively harvested what was grown. For those of us who are purchasing food, then it's not only those farm workers, but then the people who were involved in preparing those foods for transportation, in driving them or shipping them so that they made it to a store where we bought them. The people who operate that store, the people who stock the shelves, the checker who helped sell it to you. If you weren't the person buying it, then the person who did the shopping, who brought it home. The person, maybe you, maybe others, who did the preparation. And all of the people who were involved in producing all of the tools and appliances that were used in that preparation. the people who put the food into dishes, who set the table, who lit candles, who made that meal possible. So those people that you're expressing gratitude for might number in the dozens, hundreds, maybe the thousands. So much to be thankful for. So just taking some time to walk through that, to understand the role of gratitude in our meals, incredibly powerful. Well, as I'm going to wind this live stream to a close, again, I've got more information and even a suggestion for if you want a vegan feast recipe that celebrates the three sisters, these traditional North American foods of corn and beans and squash. You can find that on the website. Again, the link is in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. And I just want to give us a couple of moments. We'll do just a little bit of a gratitude meditation here as we close out. So take some time to get comfortable. Settle in with some nice deep breaths. Notice those points of contact beneath you and your weight settling down and being held by the earth. We thank the earth for being the support beneath us, for making our lives possible, for reminding us the value of stability, solidity. Notice your feet. Thank your feet for the times that they have supported your weight, that they have connected you with the earth. For the times that they have carried you to beautiful places, for the times they have taken you to meet friends. Thank your legs. For having learned how to walk, perhaps even how to dance and run. Feel into the organs, your belly, lower torso. Thank them for knowing how to work with what needs to come into your body and what needs to leave again, for keeping you alive. Notice your lungs. Thank them for bringing in the air that provides the oxygen you need in your blood. The oxygen that unlocks that energy from the sun in all your food. And again, for that deep wisdom to take in the oxygen that you need, but also to let go of the carbon dioxide, the byproduct of that metabolism, that which is no longer serving your body. And that with each breath in and out, we are exchanging this gift of oxygen from all of the green things that grow, coming in, with our gift of the carbon from our bodies going back out, in the wish that our breath might nourish other green things in their beautiful growth. Each breath an offering of gratitude to all of our plant kin. Notice your heart and thank your heart for continuing to circulate the water of life within you. So that the oxygen and nourishment you need in every cell of your body gets to where it needs to go. Thank your heart for all the times it has held a calm and steady rhythm. Thank your heart for the times it has sped up in excited joy. Notice your arms. Thank your arms for helping you to lift and carry in the day-to-day work of the world. But also for giving you the capacity to embrace the ones you love. Thank them for all the times they have gone around the shoulders of a friend, a family member, and brought comfort and joy to both partners in that embrace. Notice your hands and thank them for all the amazing work that they have allowed you to do. Thank them for the abilities that they've enacted. Thank them for giving you such sensitivity of touch that you could caress the cheek of a newborn baby. Feel the softness of the edge of a feather or the petal of a rose. Thank your shoulders for the weights that they have borne. And remind them that it's okay sometimes to let go and relax. Thank your neck for supporting the weight of your human head, or allowing you to look around and see the world from different perspectives. Thank your throat for giving you the voice from which you can speak your truth. The voice with which you can express your gratitude or offer words of comfort and joy to others. Thank your mouth for that incredible power of human speech, but also for that capacity for sensation, to experience a kiss, to taste something delicious. Thank your nose for helping to filter your breathing, for bringing you all of these amazing chemical messages from the world. Sometimes letting you know when something is unhealthy or dangerous, but also bringing you the scent of flowers, the freshness of soil after the rain, the aroma of foods being roasted. Notice your eyes and thank your eyes for bringing in so much information about the world, for bringing you the colors that you can see, the ability to see the stars at night. To see the shape of a leaf. To see the smiles of friends. And then bring your attention to your amazing human brain, one of the most complex structures perhaps anywhere in the universe. Allowing you to understand things, to imagine things, to consider. And to remember you are who you are because of your relationships. So spend a moment thinking through those relationships, offering some gratitude to the people in your life who have cared for you, to the people who have offered you love and brought you joy, to the people who have taught you things that were useful for you to learn. For your ancestors, and for others whose information is still carried in the stories of our communities, in the ways our societies come together, perhaps even written in the pages of books. Thankful for all that human brilliance that has made a better world for so many people, and for that potential to make the world even better for even more of us. That all beings might thrive, that together we all might abide in agaya and ubuntu. When you're ready, you can gently open your eyes if they've been closed, and just start to focus on the space around you, seeing if there are things that you should be thankful for. Something beautiful, something wonderful, something helpful, something comforting. Just allow yourself to look at that and offer a little thanks. Thank you to the trees I can see out the window. Thank you to the pine cone on the shelf. Thank you for the potted plants. And thank you for being here, for being part of this practice, for considering the ways that gratitude can show up more in your life. Remember that practicing gratitude is not only going to help you when you are a person who lives from a place of gratitude. Imagine how much better you will be in your community. How many people will benefit just from hearing a statement of gratitude from you? How many will benefit just from the way that you approach the world with gratitude? All of those ripple effects are so powerful. So we can't do it all the time. I don't think any of us are perfect. But every time you think of it, every time you catch yourself feeling a little grumpy, just a little bit dissatisfied, might be a time to just pause and find something to be grateful for, wherever it is, whatever it is, however far back you have to reach in your memory. And with that attitude of gratitude, help to make the world a better place. Thank you for all the ways that you show up with gratitude in the world. Ubuntu and agaya to you. Be well. And for those who might be watching online, you can join me on Zoom. The link's in the description now. Thank you for being here and signing.